That might be
It's a
great
sandbox.
question.
It's a soapbox. It's Fanbox.
I don't know why that does what it does. We're gonna figure it out. I don't know if that clip decides it wants to loop itself. But welcome. We are using a new system for its Fanbox podcast, which is probably why there's a little bit of growing pains. My name is Tony. I am the founder of its Fanbox, and you are now part of the Fanbox Podcast Network. You can find out more information about that and the other podcasts that have joined and will be joining the podcast network on fanboxnetwork.com. You can also check us out on our website. It's fanbox.com. So you can see recent articles, postings about these shows, and what's going on. And is also more information about our creators. Before we get started, please be sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications. And also, if you are new with us and you like to be able to do something on the road and you'd like to hear us talking to you while you're going into work, even tomorrow, check out this show, Tardis Talk, anywhere you find your podcast. We're everywhere. Or you can check us out on tardistalk.transistor.fm. You can find us there. We would love to have you following us there as well. But with that said, let's go ahead and bring the team on. With me today is Johnny and David. And so you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves in that order, please.
Hello, everyone. I am Marvelous Johnny. Y'all can find me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. I'm also noticing that now with this new setup, my camera has flipped because usually my hair is parted to the other direction.
Well, we see you the
This is
normal way.
odder. Oh, is it? Okay, so it's
Yeah.
just for me.
I
That's
think it's just
weird.
for you.
Okay. Weird. Okay. Well, yeah.
All right.
I am Xanatos1138 on all social media platforms, TikTok mostly. Would love to start doing Twitch if I ever actually get into it. And there are some things I want to contribute to its Fanbox related to Star Wars. I just have to find the time to do it.
Yeah.
And see,
Same.
that's the great thing about this. Let me like lay the groundwork. You guys already have known this because I've kind of drilled it in your all's head. But for those listening,
Consensually, of course.
yes, its Fanbox is not, as opposed to Captain Jack with the robots today. Its Fanbox is different than most news sites. We are not pushing for breaking information. Yeah, there will be some news posts that are put out. If you notice, like the notification about One Piece coming back, things like talking about was the Sakamoto days and the new My Hero Academia Vigilante show. Those things are only because I get notifications of them. I will like to share those things as I'm able to. And you'll also see a lot of reviews, and some of them are new movies, some of them are not new movies. There is no secret sauce or recipe when it comes to its Fanbox. It's really where the creativity takes us. And honestly, no matter what it is, there is a fandom for it. And so if we have creators who have ideas and have pitched things, and whether they happen or not, it's up to them, but there's no pressure. And I think that's the fun part about it, because let's face it, life can get busy and adulting sucks. So in all honesty, sometimes things don't work. And I will be honest, when you have people that are motivating you, that's why the Daredevil show and Tardis Talks does so well for us to keep making them, because we're kind of bouncing off of each other. But again, when you're doing something by yourself, like, I'll be honest with you, I haven't done TikTok in forever. And it's just because I want to put my focus on somewhere where I want to see growth, and I like to invest. And so building things like it's fanbox.com and fanboxnetwork.com are important to me. And so, and with that said, like with with the new podcast network, the Real Study, which I was on way back when, they're part of it now. We've got two other podcasts that we're kind of in talks with. We've got people that are interested in joining its Fanbox to possibly write for us. But again, it's all about the creative flow of what's able. And when people say they can come on and they can't, there's no stress or pressure, and it doesn't blacklist them from anything. So yeah, I'm off my soapbox. But that's
You mean
pretty
fan
much,
box?
well, it's a soapbox, it's a sandbox, it's fanbox. That's how it's always been. So, or the other way around, strike that, reverse it, whatever.
It's
But
okay.
yeah,
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
exactly. But yeah, so we're talking today about the last two episodes of, well, technically,
Kinda, sorta.
yeah, it's 12 and 13. 14 is the Christmas special, and it's David Tennant's, and we're gonna take a hiatus from that, because starting next week we've got
Season
New Who.
2
Yes,
of Chuti's run.
yes, which I'm extremely excited for, and so we're gonna take a break from Old Who, well,
Old New Who.
yeah, there we go, and then we're
And
gonna
then
jump
hit
right into
the
the new episodes.
D+ New Who.
Yes. And then once that season is over, we're going to come right back to the Christmas special, and with David Tennant. So, yeah, it's going to be fun.
And then there we go. It should be good.
But today we are talking about episodes 12 and 13 of the 2005 series, with Christopher Eccleston. And it is called Bad Wolf and the Parting of Ways.
Yes.
So, yeah. Let's see.
We find ourselves back on, what is it again? Station
Satellite 5.
Satellite 5. That's what it was.
And now it's called Game Zone or something.
And then you have that classic British show, The Weakest Link and everything.
Yep.
You are the weakest link.
And
Droid.
Yes. That's the funny thing. I remember watching for the first time, I'm like, isn't this like an actual show? I'm like, does this belong to the BBC? Is that why they're able to parody it in this way?
I think they're all based on actual shows, like the housemate one. Yeah.
They even call it Big Brother at one point.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, right. There is that one. And then you got the trivia one with that one dude who's a real sleazebag.
Now, mind you, there's also the one with the two guns where the guns are loaded. Like they talk about that too, which I thought was really funny. Like I would have loved to have gone into more of the other shows that they had there, because they seemed funny, but they wouldn't have been able to
really explore that one.
Yeah. Oh, and then Face Off. What was it? It was Face Off that they called the one for Captain Jack.
Right, because they were going to saw his face off. It literally face off, big saw.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Captain Jack, I'm just going to pull this up.
He was the highlight of the episodes. I'm sorry.
Geek Render just kind of posted. We were talking about this beforehand. The fact that, let's not like glaze over the fact that he's basically groping the robot breast at one point.
Yep.
In the thing, which Johnny didn't know about.
Okay, so I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. So Doctor Who season 1 specifically left Prime Video, which is where I watch Doctor Who currently in Canada. It's not on Disney Plus or anything. So I didn't watch the first part. I watched the second part.
Okay.
So I'm running off memory.
Do you guys have do you have Max in?
We don't have Max. We have something called Crave.
Okay.
I've seen that.
Yeah. So for the US, like I will say, Max has the entire Who up to Jodie Whittaker.
Yes, which is just so silly though. Like you think, like Disney, you're putting out new Doctor Who content. Have the classic stuff, or not even the classic stuff. The new Who stuff at least there for people.
Disney what's is fighting for it.
What's crazy is they have everything up to Jodie except Jodie's last hour and a half episode, which is on Prime by itself.
Isn't that Power of the Doctor?
Yes.
Yeah. That's the funny thing. Jodie's run isn't on Prime here. Jodie's run is nowhere in Canada unless you own her series.
Huh. Wait, so did I miss an episode? Because I was only watching on Max.
Did you see her regeneration?
Yes.
Oh, then maybe they moved it over there, because when I binged it, like I don't know, a year and a half ago, that was separate from everything.
Now I want to go on Max and see.
We're just gonna do some fact checking because we are responsible content creators.
Oh yeah, we're not responsible. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, we're more responsible than most news sources lately somehow.
Or we're more responsible than most people talking about Superman right now, which is a whole thing in and of itself.
We are fact checking on the fly, folks.
This is how you know we're reliable, how we're good, and we don't lie to people. We only ever lie to ourselves and then inadvertently lie to you through that way.
So what I'm going to do...
Self-esteem be damned.
What is that? What are we talking about? What? Hold on, I'm gonna share.
What is happening? Are you showing your Max profile?
Yeah, so as long as you don't see anything inappropriate, let me just see if I can. Okay,
What have you been watching, Tony?
No, I don't watch anything inappropriate.
Specific
Okay,
episodes of
Hold on, let's see.
Game of Thrones, perhaps?
Okay, so we're gonna move you up here. There we go. Okay.
Okay.
So we
So
go
we're
to
there's season 2, New Earth,
Let's
for
go down
David's first
season
episode.
13.
Oh yeah, you guys have Young Justice Phantoms. We don't have that anywhere. I gotta get like Stack TV on Prime or
Yep,
something like
it's
that.
there.
Cool.
Yeah, Power of the Doctor,
Power of the
where we
Doctor.
see the other classic Doctors as well, which is always fun.
It was like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, it
Like,
legitimately was. Yeah.
The whole sequence.
Yeah. So I saw the whole thing. I love the whole thing because he's like this. Like he was like freaking out, like not understanding why he is who he is again. But yeah, awesome.
Just it was this sequence of episodes was the first, the first in New Who regeneration and the regeneration speech, which was not all that long, and then he just kind of like sneezed, and he was David Tennant.
Legit, yeah.
Okay, hold on. Geek Render, I want to say this real quick. If she ends up coming home at some point and you run into her, like invite her on the show. We'll make it happen. Like
Tell her to stop canceling con appearances.
Well,
yeah.
I
She
don't
didn't.
know.
Wait, no. Did she cancel?
I say
when we
that-
went to New York Comic Con.
I say that in jest. That actually the New York Comic Con appearance was the only time, like out of 3 attempts, that's the only time I've been able to see her.
Yeah, there we go. See, not
now
all of it.
Now I want to meet her because, let's face it, she's awesome.
I just want to give her love, the love she deserves. That still sounds bad.
No,
I want to give her
you're
love
good.
and appreciation. There we go.
Listen,
Jodie Whittaker's gonna get a restraining order against me now.
She was a fantastic doctor. I just wish they would have given her it's the same thing with Shooty's first season. Like it was good. There were great episodes, but it was too short, and there wasn't I will say, anytime a doctor does not have legacy villains at any point in the season,
We had the Master. Yeah.
I'm
Do we
talking about
count that one?
Daleks or Cybermen.
Okay.
Like you got to have at least one Dalek episode in a Doctor Who season.
Yeah,
They
no,
had it in
they
the
reserved them
special.
for only the New Year's ones. Which, by the way, I think that was also a huge stupid idea. Instead of doing Christmas specials, they did New Year specials. Like what?
Yeah.
So silly.
But like the range from Jodie was like she could be adorable and just happy-go-lucky, and then getting the TARDIS back after a few episodes, like you could feel how emotional she was. It was she had great range.
Oh, absolutely.
I will say though, her run is just cinematic as hell. It looks stunning.
Yeah. So we're talking about Bad Wolf. We're on Satellite 5. The Doctor ends up on Big Brother. Captain Jack ends up on Face Off. Which obviously he has no problem working with his style. And at some point, it seems like he's enjoying them removing the dematerializing of his clothes.
To quote him, your viewership just went up.
Exactly.
Where were you hiding that?
That went up? Yes, that was my favorite part of the whole thing. He's like, you don't want to know, but like, it was squeaky clean. I'm just gonna say it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Future.
I mean, he probably bleaches.
Okay.
See, that's why. Jesus Christ.
I didn't say what. You can use bleach for anything. A murder, to drink. I'm joking. No one drink bleach. No one drank bleach. It's not Tide Pods.
Exactly. Even Tide Pods aren't good. Like, don't.
I'm Gen Z. It's fine.
Okay, let's just keep moving on. And then of course we have Rose. That's with the weakest link. I kind of feel like okay, the guy that wakes her up, that like is getting her back and going. He seems really nice and kind at first.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's just kind of like, you're supposed to be here, blah blah blah. But the more you're there, you realize how nasty and evil he is, and you feel bad for everybody in that warehouse when the Daleks appear, except for him. Yeah, I love how they just make certain people just extremely hateable. It's kind of like when Catherine Tate first appears with the Runaway Bride.
Yes,
and you just think her fiance is like this, like it. Yeah, he's a little sleazy because he's dancing with that girl that she can't stand, but like you don't think he's as bad as he is, and then there's just a complete and utter turn.
180 of like,
Yeah.
oh, you rat son of a bitch.
Yeah, which I would like to say, like, stop doing that to the black guys on the show, like, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like the fact that she's like, I have to vote someone out. I couldn't vote for myself, and then at that point, everybody's looking at her like, "Are you nuts?" Because who's going to vote for themselves on that show? But she votes for the other person, and the moment that they just kind of poof into smoke, or
Yeah,
into
and she's
dust,
like, oh, what did I just do?
and then the other kid's like, I'm not doing this, and he runs away, knowing what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's like Squid Games.
they
knowledge.
got teleported and probably immediately exterminated by the Daleks, because I'm assuming that's where they all went.
I just thought
the
they got
ship.
exterminated on the spot.
So my thought was, because don't they say at some point, like, since the Daleks had to be revived, what they were doing was the people who were
Oh,
zapped away,
yeah.
they were being turned into Daleks themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like later on in the Matt Smith era with the Asylum.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And we
there
of
we
course we get the Dalek Supreme.
Yes.
Or he calls himself God Dalek at one point. That in and of itself, these two episodes make me really enjoy the episode with the Rift, when the Daleks are going against the Cybermen, when Rose is in that bunker with the cult of Skaro, and she just like owns the fact that she killed their deity, and the fact that they're looking at her as nervous as they normally do with the Doctor. I loved that, because I thought at that point, like, Rose has kind of like reached her prime when it comes to being a companion, where she's pretended to be the Doctor. She now is got like mannerisms like the Doctor, and she has no intention not to keep working with him. And then of course we know what happens later on, but yeah, I loved it. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, it's gonna build up to the funniest exchange of all time in Doctor Who, when the Daleks are talking to the Cybermen. You are better at one thing. What is that? Dying.
I just love how they were going like, who are you? And it's like, who are you? And it's like, and they go, the Daleks do not answer questions, and it's like, you identified yourselves as Daleks. I'm like, yeah, that was a muscle move.
You know, if they could, they would just add in stupid at the end. And like, you just answered it stupid.
Exactly. Let's see here. Okay, so Geek Renner says, I always thought that the Emperor Dalek believed it was God having human DNA mixed with Dalek DNA. Yeah, but a lot of the times with the Daleks, they were very purist. It was
Maybe
very
that
much
was the hybrid.
Yeah, it was very much a racial cleansing thing, because like even later on when
Oh
you
yeah,
see,
no, they were modeled after the Nazis.
yeah, and what I always thought was really funny is, like, even when let's go farther than the Rift episode with Bad Wolf Bay, but you've got Dalek Khan from the Cult of Skaro, who decides he's going to mess with all of them,
Mhm.
and you think he's on their side. I will say the writing with the Daleks have always been my favorite. I think it's just a lot of fun. So it was nice to see them in this episode again.
Dalek episode I don't like, honestly, now that I run through it.
I think my least favorite Dalek episode was when it was with Capaldi's run, when they went inside the Dalek.
I love that episode.
I wasn't as okay. So it was the whole soldier thing. Like, I went back and in all honesty, this episode made more sense to me, because I remember like seeing the Doctor run into the elevator with the giant gun, and then you hear him like talking about guns and soldiers and stuff down the road, and it's really more so during Capaldi's run that he has such an affinity against soldiers. What are you gonna say?
I see what you mean, but I'm thinking is like, I think I felt the same when I first watched it, but then the payoff made the episode more important, because there was the beginning, and then at the very end it's like, oh well, that they're calling back to that now.
Even before the payoff, I still really liked the whole episode, and like the Doctor's monologue in that, trying to appeal to Rusty, and going like, there's beauty in the universe in and of itself, and then all the Dalek sees behind that is just his hate for the Daleks.
I think what bothered me was it was kind of retreading some ground because we had just had in the 11th run that robotic, human, like the human body that could change into different people that was being powered by small people inside. And you had the kind of like the orbs that would, like, if you weren't authorized to be there, they'd kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was very reminiscent to that, and I don't like things that kind of are repetitious. So
Yeah.
there's that in that
It's
mindset.
I think the reason why I enjoy it is like it reminded me of Magic School Bus back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay, you stop making me want to like it more. Okay,
I'm just
I get it.
saying.
Yeah.
The Doctor is very much, or correction, not the Doctor. Miss Frizzle is very much Time Lord-esque.
We got a reference to Rexicorical Falbatorius in this episode. Of course, that's
Yes.
where they were coming from after they went to I think it was like, what was it, like 26th century or whatever, Japan.
I think we should honestly start including counter in every episode where we try or even just do say Rexicorical Falbatorius.
Rexicorical Falbatorius.
Rexicorical Falbatorius.
I think we're at 5 now.
Yeah, probably.
At 4 at least in this episode.
There we go.
Oh no, it's 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's 5. It's 4.
Okay.
Yeah,
we can count.
We've only said Rexicorical Falbatorius 5
6 times now.
Yeah.
Or 5 times.
If we said Rexicorical Falbatorius a 6th time, it would be right then and there. So
yes.
Yeah, so we're at 6.
Not 7.
They used the logic board from the last episode, which was really cool. That was their. They used it now that they understand it, they were able to use it to make a shield in the TARDIS, which was really fun.
Which also kind of comes back later on in Doctor Who, because like the TARDIS now has shields.
Well, yeah, because they integrated it into the system. Like at that point, like
honestly, we should see more things like that where the Doctor just finds random crap and she's like, I can use this to upgrade the TARDIS.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I
mean,
no visual changes, but like things like a shield makes sense.
Well, there's he did lose a component in the last season. He lost all of Sutek.
No, legit. Funny enough, in the Party of Ways episodes, when we see the missiles coming by, I'm just like, Sutek cannot be having fun right now.
Or let's talk about the fact that later on, when the TARDIS blows up and it's being taken over, and the TARDIS becomes a woman. Was he attached to her, or was he attached to the remnants of the TARDIS? And then what about when the Master took the TARDIS? Like there's like the paradox engine. Come on, like yeah, it's so,
in short,
it's so wobbly.
Who's the head writer of this series? And then Shooties again. I'm forgetting. Not Moffat. Before Moffat.
Was it RTD in the
right?
series?
Russell T Davies. Yeah.
Yes.
Russell T Davies really just wrote himself into a
this
loop and corner.
He does a lot of hand waving at the end of his runs.
Most of his writing is very hand wavy, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sutek being one of them.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I really didn't like about these 2 episodes was something I had to read to figure out, that Rose was the one that basically was leaving all of the Easter eggs for Bad Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
That was her doing it. They just don't ever say it.
Yeah.
Because when she melds with the time vortex, she then goes through all space and time, leaving hints about Bad Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
She says something like she scatters the words across time and space. Like that was the most explanation you got, though. And then
that for me back in the day, that's all I needed to like. Oh, okay. So anything related to Bad Wolf is just Rose mucking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which then completely like makes it funny when later on when she ends up meeting the Doctor at Bad Wolf Bay. Shouldn't she have known that?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Maybe, but then she got kind of her brain kind of got scrambled when the Doctor took all of that away.
Yeah, well, we also noticed like later on with the Tennant run, she doesn't really retain knowledge very well because she doesn't keep that what was it, the French fry grease from the other aliens that are running the school.
Oh
yeah.
That's a fun episode. I can't wait for that one.
She was just like, "What's this times this?" And she's like, "I haven't a clue." It's like, wow, you weren't good at maths, were you? So,
yeah. Oh Lord, poor Rose. I will say though, I really like Jackie in that last episode, where she's like, I have hated that man since he came into our life, but in this moment right now, I am so grateful for him. I'm like, I support this, Jackie.
Mhm. I also feel bad for the character Linda with a Y.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
You could see like there have been a
she
number of
could have been a
times.
good companion.
Okay, so there was a where's the mag? Oh, I threw it over here. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Astrid, it reminded me of Astrid when David Tennant's like, you should come along with me, and then she just dies.
Oh yeah, on the Titanic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are companions that could have been that were said. First of all was of course Linda and Bad Wolf. The other one they thought was Madame Pompadour in The Girl in the Fireplace.
Oh yes.
She would have been a good one. Also Sally Sparrow from Blink.
Ooh,
Though she
that
chose
could have
to,
been
to
good.
stay.
Yeah.
Like with Larry Nightingale, like that, she would have been a good companion. Also one that I hope we end up getting a payoff at some point is the Doctor's daughter. Because if he would have just stayed for 5 more minutes,
I'm calling it now. When David Tennant comes back as the 15th Doctor, we'll probably see her eventually.
I mean, the
We've
16th
got
Doctor.
to. Or
Do you think he's going to keep coming back? Oh well, yeah, he's technically.
I really lost track after Capaldi. Capaldi was 12/13 because War Doctor.
Yeah,
Jodie,
so we don't number the War Doctor. We don't
War
number
Doctor's
the
just
Fugitive
War
Doctor.
Doctor. Yeah.
or nor do we number David's other regeneration use because he was selfish.
Right, but it was also kind of like a bi-generation if you think about it, because he put it into the hand and made a human version of himself.
But like not entirely.
And we've never had a real bi-generation until this last one. So we're calling Judy the 15th, but really he's like 14.5 in a
16,
sense.
17, 18-ish.
Yeah.
If they ever cross over Doctor Who with Marvel, they should have an episode with Madison.
Marvel Comics did used to write Doctor Who, or did used to
Yeah.
publish Doctor Who, I
They
should
did.
say. Not right.
Madison with a Y. I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, now new Doctor Who comics are run by Titan.
Yes, they're actually not bad. There's a Missy comic out there that's really good.
The other two that were referenced were the medical student Rita from the God Complex, which was the one in the hotel where she ends up falling victim to her own her faith leads her to becoming a victim of the Minotaur. And then the last one that they suggested, well, there's 2 more actually. Perkins from The Mummy on the Orient Express. But he knows
that mechanic dude.
But he knows what traveling on the TARDIS means, and so he declined the Doctor's offer.
Yeah.
And then the last one would have been one of the Petronella Osgoods. Because we know one dies and the other one decides to save the Earth.
Who was it that said if you look closely, like it was an interview with the Osgoods, and she said if you look closely, you can tell which one's which. I heard that somewhere recently.
Serious?
I think it had something to do with the scarf specifically. Might have been like the way it was parted, the length, or something like that. But yeah.
Well, I'm looking at a picture of him right now, and I can't really tell much of a difference.
However, I will say, watching season 1 again has made me realize something. Because, like, David, you and I are Star Wars fans. We know George Lucas loves to go back.
What? Am I not a Star Wars fan?
Do I actively talk about Star Wars with you as much as I do David? David? God, that's weird now.
I know.
Sheesh.
Okay. Point is, we're all Star Wars fans here, but like we're aware of how George Lucas likes to go back and add his special effects and everything. Watching Doctor Who season 1 again made me go like, man, it'd be kind of fun if like BBC went back and just like stuck someone who looked like Clara in the background or anything like that, just walking by.
The moment I saw why am I blanking on his name? The like Emperor Dalek, the one you see most in Capaldi with the chair, and is like
Davos? No, Davros.
Yeah. Yes, I was like, man, because I'm pretty sure he was in Old Who, right?
Yep.
So like,
he was there for the 4th Doctor for sure.
I'm like watching this, going, this is just Emperor Palpatine. Yeah. Lucas just lifted this from Doctor Who.
Except for Emperor Palpatine, like didn't like get put in like timeout with the Dalek, with the stormtroopers like the Daleks were, because like Davros at near the end of like where we've seen him so far, if he ever comes back, is he was relegated to the basement. So, or just the sick bay, which was like their way of just keeping him away because they knew they needed him, but they didn't want him.
Nor did Luke Skywalker or Anakin or anyone ever save Emperor Palpatine when he was a child.
No, I mean that requires time travel, and the only thing that's close to that is World Between Worlds, and I hope that's as close as it ever gets.
Yeah, no, I don't need time travel in Star Wars. Anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, how fun would it be if just BBC decided to just like in the this episode with the space station, they just had Clara in like the background somewhere.
Oh
yeah, I mean, because with streaming, they can superimpose things now. It could
exactly.
Just be
the amount of time Star Wars has now edited out a mistake on the Disney Plus shows because some guy's leg and jeans was in the background of the Imperial base.
Or do you not even remember the whole like hoopla of
jeans
of the jeans? But then like with what was it with Marvel when WandaVision ended, they like updated the end credit scene and people were like, oh, it must mean something. Like, no, it doesn't.
Oh yeah, with the Doctor Strange thing at the end. Yeah, I remember that one.
There's a spectral whatever in the court. No, there's not.
Yeah.
Johnny, like talking about time travel in Star Wars made me think in Legends is actually Jason Solo can do something called flow walking.
Is that where he could just like spiritually send himself through the Star Wars timeline or something?
He would watch the past, and I think a couple of times he actually affected what happened. Like he pushed someone forward or something. It was
like
really,
a bit like Ezra pulling Ahsoka.
It was a lot like this was before World Between Worlds. I think that's probably where Dave Filoni grabbed that from.
His inspiration from. Yeah, almost. Yeah. Definitely. Oh, there we go. A little bit of Star Wars lore inside our Doctor Who show.
Also, Geek Render says that the genesis of the Daleks was first
1975.
2 years before Star Wars.
There
you go. We can now confirm.
Well, I wouldn't know since I'm not a Star Wars fan, but
exactly.
I'm gonna start calling you Star Wars Theory. But
anyway. Oh, okay. Here's the thing: we both might be from Vancouver, but one of us is actually at least good looking.
I'll tell him that for you.
Sure. Give me his address while at it.
No.
Yeah. So okay. So basically, we find out from Bad Wolf that everything that the Doctor did to save humanity and push them back into development didn't happen. For 100 years, they've just been stuck because no news. Like what? Here's my question: he left Satellite 5 with a group of people that could provide the news and could do what they needed to do to help mankind, and they just all left. Is that what happened?
From the seams of it.
To be fair, I think if I had the opportunity to leave, I would just leave. I would just go somewhere else.
That's true.
I don't know. For the way that one character wanted to advance up the chain, she could have easily figured out a way to run that station herself.
True.
And can we also talk about the fact that why does the station have to predicate on using people as processing systems? Like, I get the last one; it was just horrible
because the Matrix was very popular around this time.
I guess, and thankfully for those solar flares, exactly 100 years later, that's when they're able to get that message to the Doctor.
She calculated that. She was like, I'm gonna take you at this exact moment so that the solar flares will allow me to talk to you.
Which is very cool. She wasn't responding to people because that was literally, her being monitored. She couldn't respond to people, or else the Daleks would have shut that down quick like they did. But a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
5-year-old.
Then she looked really cool for a few seconds out of all that and then got exterminated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No happy ending sometimes.
I will say I have always loved watching how the Doctor can be unarmed and still terrify a group of machines that are supposed to not feel fear.
Mm-hmm.
And
him pulling out a jammy Dodger during Matt Smith's era is still one of my favorite things ever.
Mm-hmm.
The when the Ninth Doctor is talking and they're saying you will be like they're basically telling the Doctor to be quiet. He goes, if anyone's going to shut up, it's you. And he kind of he
lunges a little bit.
It lunges a little bit. I'm like back up,
and they all back up. And I'm like, I love the fact that they know
I feel like that was also
Even-
just the Doctor himself testing. Like, how much can I scare them? Let's find out.
Well, this is the moment. Like there was a point with the Dalek episode where he's like, okay, there was one remnant, like one survived.
Yeah.
And then in this episode, there's that realization, because he doesn't know anything yet, that him destroying the Daleks and the Time Lords did not succeed.
Mhm.
And that they're back with a force and they're threatening the planet that he loves. And it's like a recollection all over again, because what is the Doctor's inclination to do to solve this problem? Exactly what he did the last time. You know, and he's willing to like basically kill all life except for maybe some life that's on the other side of the planet. But yeah, I mean,
I will say though, very briefly, since we mentioned the Time War, we also got the one clip that they would use later on in the 50th anniversary of 9 going, and for my next trick.
oh yeah, yeah. They had to take bits and pieces. So like for Android, they were gonna have a voice actor imitate the character.
Okay.
And they didn't. They end up. I guess they used clips of the actual game show host to to post on that. So they're very much about like using clips. And I guess with the BBC, they own everything, so they can
Yeah.
do whatever they want with it.
And she ended up killing 2 or 3 Daleks before
Yeah.
getting her head blown off.
So
Pretty effective.
Interesting thing about Android.
Did Android have a man inside of her?
So there was a rigging that was involved with it. I think there was a partial point. So if you look, there is a scene where there is a person with the mask on sitting, but there was this one. I guess the person who was operating it, Alan Rusko, when he was asked about the android, he said, "I still have nightmares about the android rig." Basically, 2 technicians work on a slumped figure, attaching cables to his body. Within moments, the mysterious figure lifts its head, comes to life. It's a female robot quizmaster, dressed in black, and of course, you know, she laughs and everything about it. But it was basically like whereas these guys were just men in suits, which you can see them
Yes.
here with John Barwin, which makes the whole groping thing
That much more funny.
Yeah.
Not to say groping's funny, but like.
And that's the context for Johnny's earlier statement, just so we're clear.
Yep.
Just say it. Just felt like I needed to say it, you know?
Yeah. And supposedly in the original synopsis, the controller was supposed to be a 12-year-old boy.
What the fuck? Good to know, I guess. Damn.
Yeah.
The mo you know.
Yeah. And if you're
Knowledge might
wondering
be
where
a
I'm
curse.
getting some of this information from, I was able to go to a used bookstore, but there is a thing the BBC does called the Doctor Who Figural Collection, and where they sell like figures of different characters from the series. They come with these really cool books that discuss literally some of the episodes, and I've got a crap load of them for different episodes, just not every episode. So you can check those out. I got them at the used bookstore for 50 cents a piece. So
Yeah, I live in like a glorified retirement community, so there's not really cool shops around me for about 2 hours distance.
so Orlando's like 2 hours from you?
Orlando's about 4 hours from me. There's a comic shop in Fort Lauderdale that's really, really cool, but I can't I don't make the trip very often because it is an easy trip, but it's like I got to devote time to that.
I get that.
Oh, I'm so sorry, man.
I'm just lucky I'm in a densely populated city, honestly.
I can admit, like, even though I'm out in like the crap country, I will say there is at least 2 comic shops, a collector shop, and there's a game store within like 20 minutes of me. So
Yeah, that's why every con trip I make a point. It's like I'm going to hit up every single comic shop and every single thing I see. Just overload.
That's fair,
that
actually.
makes sense. Yeah. It's weird. Me not going to conventions this year has been really, really strange. Like I'm having a little bit of withdrawals, but like taking the break has kind of been nice.
You save a lot of money.
Not really.
Yeah,
It's expensive.
Fair enough.
I was gonna take a break after MegaCon, and then a buddy of mine really wanted to go to Fan Expo Philly, and he lives in Philly, so I'm like, well, okay,
It's Malik.
sure, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I figured.
And he
Here's the thing. I told myself this year, like, no vacations. I'm not gonna do any vacations. The only time I'll go to a convention is if I get in for free or something. So like I wasn't even gonna go to Toronto or anything, which I'm still not at the moment. But my friend was able to get me San Diego Comic-Con tickets, and opportunity's knocking. I gotta take it.
Nice.
yeah.
Right. So we might have an inside reporter for Hall H MCU this year.
That'd be very nice.
Right.
Then I can share your tweets and not get in trouble for anything.
I don't use Twitter.
I'm just seeing something here. I don't know if how long he's been there. I do apologize if it's been a while.
Oh, hey.
The Wilkins.
I mean,
How you feeling?
Just sitting here eating breakfast, watching you guys. I guess is what I'm doing. It's been a while, but hey, you know,
we're just getting off topic as usual.
Yeah, Johnny, if you don't have press credentials, I'll tell you right now, you're pretty much going to have to write off maybe your Thursday night and a lot of your Friday if you're going to try for the Saturday line. What you really want to do is you want to find a group of people that need extra people, because every person that waits in the Saturday day line represents 5 people. I thought
they started doing like the wristband thing now.
No, the wristband. No. Oh, sir. Please, does everyone else mind skipping Tardis Talk for just a moment and getting into
for San Diego Comic-Con?
We went for a long time last night on Daredevil Talk talking about non-Daredevil stuff. Go for it.
Good thing I wasn't there. I would have been way more off topic and way more spiteful.
The anger and hostility that is pent up in this young man is amazing. No, there are wristbands, but what happens is the Saturday line forms sometime around Thursday. Okay. Thursday night.
Nice.
Thursday afternoon. Actually, at the point where we had position in line, we were actually down from the main line about, I would say the equivalent of maybe a half a city block. And that was after somebody started standing in line for us Thursday night. We provided relief into Friday, but what happens is that line forms whenever the hell it forms, and then people stay in it. And then
should I just form it on Thursday morning?
I mean, if you really hate yourself, yeah. So then late Friday night, then you will start to see everyone gets excited because they will midpoint Friday night, they will reshape the line. They'll have people move over. They'll have people shift. And then you're waiting for the blinkers. Oh, the blinkies are coming. Here come the blinkies or the blinkers. And those are the people handing out the wristbands, right? For where you are. And everyone gets all excited and they're sharing where they're at in the status quo of things. But then you're like, okay, great. I've got my wristband. I'm locked in. No, you're not. Because somebody in your group now has to go stay the night underneath the ground covered tents with the fake grass. And you have to be there before a certain time, and you have to have evidence of your group, and then they let you up to there to get into Hall H. And then once that is, prepare to be eating hot dogs and nachos all freaking day, because unless you only get a bathroom break pass during the panel, and if you're not back before the next panel is done, you're out. So, you're
stupid.
That's why it's a. That's why I say Comic-Con is San Diego Comic-Con's a young person's game. It really is. The last time I went,
Is there an accessibility pass or anything? I'll go get hit by a car.
No,
I have health care.
Johnny's like you. Johnny's hearing all this and going, "You have no idea how high I can fly."
You know what's really annoying about
need to buy a bunch of dope
is that you did not know. Like all of this, because there's a point where it's Fanbox or Nerd Initiative and the likes, you can apply for press credentials. And then if you're lucky, you'll get stuck into what I call the people cow shoot of Hall H, where you're all the way to the right facing Hall H, stage left, in a corral with but you do get to see everybody walking on stage.
Wait, I'm just standing? I don't get a seat?
Yeah. No, you're press. You're garbage. What are you thinking? Come on, man. Anyway, can I just say, dialing it back, even though nobody really wanted to let me in the room, which is fine. I understand.
I
I
didn't
get it.
see you. Listen. My
Um,
controller is down here, and I was looking up there.
yeah. I just have to say
In his
that
def-
the first time I watched these 2 episodes of Doctor Who, I have to admit I both loved the parody of ongoing TV commentary of the wave of reality television that was enveloping everything. I never would have thought that we would have started at this point to get to a Dalek and total annihilation episode. I never saw that coming. So in those respects, I enjoyed it. I still to this day, even after the rewatch, I don't understand why Rose thought after seeing what the heart of the TARDIS did to somebody else, why it was vital to break it open. Because it seems like that would have been a major gamble to be able to get the TARDIS to go back. You know what I mean?
Well,
So I don't
know. I don't know.
explain
if
it
she
to me
thought
like I'm a child, please.
Rose has balls. Easy as that.
I also feel like because she's been exposed to the TARDIS for long enough, she thought maybe that would give her some advantage. And I
Fair
think
enough.
she was hoping she probably could look away fast enough because her whole goal was just to communicate with the TARDIS. And maybe she was hoping that if she did that, then at that point it would have listened to her and she would have been able to break the connection. But the TARDIS had other plans, which I think was the best part about the whole thing because we do get that regenerating kiss though.
Well, and then we get Eccleston to say, "I think you need a doctor." It was like probably one
That's
of the
such a
cheesiest
cheesy
lines.
line, and I love it. I do not care. I love me some Chiz.
Yeah. It was, but still, all in all, especially for this first season and not knowing, I mean, the only thing I wish I could do is go back in time and not know that it was Eccleston's only season going into it, just so I could experience probably the same gut punch every British kid and adult watching this reboot got when they're like, hold up, he's regenerating already?
Yeah.
Well, here's my thing. I still remember it because, like, when I started watching Doctor Who, it was still during Matt Smith's era. So, like, his face was plastered everywhere. It was the guy with the good hair and weird chin for me, okay?
Yeah.
So, when I first saw Eccleston, I'm just like, who's this guy? I'm like, okay, I guess they recast the Doctor. And then we get to the explanation of regeneration. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He's about to turn. Here's the weird chinny guy. Who the hell's this spiky-haired dude?
Who's this little otter that's now on the scene? Who is this guy? Oh man. I'll tell you what, one of the greater doctors we've had. Actually, I have to say, upon reflection, and really, I hate to say anything bad about Whittaker because I really feel like Jodie got a raw deal. I think she received some of the most monumental casting of the Doctor at just the right time, but with the wrong showrunner, because
100%.
I feel like every one of the Doctors that we got have been great in their own respects. I think, I don't think you get continued Doctor Who without, oh my God, why am I blanking on his name? Eccleston. And then the goat. Tennant. I don't think you get the continuation of Doctor Who without Tennant. I really don't. There's a certain charm.
Like, knowing what I know now, Tennant is what helped Doctor Who rise to its highest point, I think.
Exactly.
And then Matt Smith was able to take it further as well.
Yeah, because let's face it, he not only had the production quality, and some really fantastic stories.
Yeah,
but he was
excellent cast
of the Tennant,
and everything. Yeah,
definitely. But Smith was great. I loved and adored Smith, and I legitimately cried during his regeneration speech because it is one of the most powerful, I think, in the entire run. Because basically, because Tennant just said, I don't want to go. Fair enough, bro, but your knee and I'm sure your back problems say otherwise. But when it came to Matt Smith, that was just so eloquent, and it's such a reflection of life itself. We're different people throughout our lifetimes, and that's okay. You got to keep going. You got to keep moving.
So long as you remember all the people that you used to be.
And I will never forget
One line of this.
One line of this.
One day. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm in
and the whole
mode.
thing of just being breath on a glass. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps. I really, really am.
I will always remember when the Doctor was me.
And I think
Perfection.
with how much joy that Doctor Who has brought me, part of me is actually kind of bummed that Eccleston didn't have a good experience as the Doctor. You know, retrospectively, that kind of bums me out a little, because the guy he turned in a great performance, in that first season of his that we just all got to witness, and really, I think maybe did Big Finish pull off doing some adventures with him, some continued adventures in their stories,
I think
their audiobooks.
Yes. Yeah. There's the audiobooks.
Okay.
I'm
So at
sure.
least
I think there was a comic as well where we had like a 3 Doctor situation where 9, 10, and 11 teamed up.
Yes. Yes, I actually think I got those. I haven't.
But sorry for being late. And Johnny, yes, San Diego Comic-Con is a young person's game, and also watch out for Buddy the Elf while you're there, because he's going to be there too.
Who?
Don't say
Like
who. How
Will
dare
Ferrell?
you? No,
Buddy
the Elf
on TikTok. Yeah.
Batpool 97. Come on,
That is.
come on. This can't just be me
It might just be
and
you.
Tony.
Well, no, I think it started with me, and then it bled over to Will, and then now asking
David, do you know who that is?
The name sounds kind of familiar, but I
Let's
don't
not
know.
belabor the point, guys. You're not making him feel any better. But look, and I will say the only thing that really bummed me out when I got to finally go to Comic-Con, which I think my first year was 2018, and I don't even want to say how old I was when that happened, but up until that point, there had been certain recurring legends, if you will, of San Diego Comic-Con, and one of them went by the name of Bob Stencil, who was allegedly a retired Braniff pilot, and I don't know how this guy turned up in so many panels, but he did all kinds of stupid, wacky crap. That's all it really was. It was a good shtick, but man, I was so bummed when he wasn't there. But then the other thing too, I think in the last year that I went, I finally got to pick out what the Adam Savage's secret costume was walking around the Comic-Con floor, because every year he does an elaborate costume that you can't tell it's him. I'm like, oh, that's got to be him, and it was. So I was super excited. Didn't take a picture with him because I'm a dick, but oh well.
You should go this year, and then we can go try to find Adam Savage together.
You know, my daughter is harassing me because of the people I know. Usually, passes are very. They're a lot easier for me to get than other people. Now, but those are just passes. And if you think that having the name of one of the people who's more than likely having a Saturday Hall H panel closing it out, right? You'd think if that would carry some weight. It doesn't carry dick, okay? In order to get into the 2022 Marvel Hall H panel, I had to do everything I just told you. I cheated for 2019. I shouldn't have been in there, but I was working. I had tech for the Kevin Smith panel that was going on. And one of the pieces they were running wasn't going to be done until Saturday. It got delivered Saturday. And when they gave me that pass Saturday morning and it just said Saturday, my mind started churning. I'm like, wait a second. Okay.
I have an idea.
45 minutes before 45 minutes before the Hall H panel for Marvel will start, we're going to go and we're going to say, I got to deliver this USB drive to the booth. Okay. I had a USB drive in my pocket. What was on it? Absolutely nothing. And I thought, okay, but they know me, so I'll go in through the side. We'll go in and then we'll just find seats and it'll be great. I had my daughter with me in tow. At the time, she was really bummed out. She didn't think it was going to happen. I'm like, no, trust me. I got this, kid. I got this. And we go in and I thought I was cooked at the point where they're, okay, well, this person's going to escort you back there.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, great. And I'm like, okay, that's it. We're done. We're cooked. But they took us back, and like the whole back of Hall H, it's nothing but a big curtain, the tech booth, big curtain, right? So I went, they walked us to the point. I'm like, okay, thanks. My daughter and I went behind the curtain. I did a 5 count. We walked right back out and found seats. So I shouldn't have been there to get the Black Widow hat and everything else, but I did. And the Infinity
if your
Saga
screen
cards.
goes black at some point, we know that Comic-Con International is taking you out.
There we go.
Or we just hear a
man.
large bang.
It's like, Will, it's been nice knowing you. Oh, no, I'm just.
Interestingly enough, actually, like let's say you go for press credentials and you request them, they actually will then take your name and submit them to the studios too. And the studios for those Saturday presentations have to approve you. It's a massive game of rejection, man.
Sorry, so I have to be approved by Marvel Studios.
Only if you had a press pass, but you don't. So now you can
Okay.
just try and get in.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool,
listen,
cool.
listen, and I'm just saying, the more we get Fanbox going, the easier it will be to get approved for those panels.
I was gonna say, if I have to go ask for that, then I'm like, you know what? I might as well just do that and at least get some fan box.
Well, that's why I'm like, you're probably pissed you got these passes recently because it's basically December or January. You have to submit your request for Comic-Con. I think that's when they open up. Yeah, Tony would know, right?
Yeah,
you had to help me write a letter once.
Well, no, what happens is I have as the press key holder, I have to submit the request, and then they will give me an approval whether or not we can do. They'll give us approval for both WonderCon and for San Diego Comic-Con.
Yes.
So
yeah, there we go.
Yeah, and the only thing is they tell us and the thing is they only tell you late in the game, and then from there they'll tell you they'll tell you, okay, we were going to give you 2 passes to WonderCon, we're going to give you. We'll tell you what we're going to give you for San Diego Comic-Con when we get closer. And sometimes it's usually like at the last minute. So it's even hard to think about, scheduling for flights or anything like that.
Well, I will tell you what, if I can't get into Hall H, hopefully they'll have a new sonic screwdriver there again this year, and then I can grab one of those for us as well.
I hope not. I really hope not at this point.
They've done it for the last 2 years. I wouldn't be surprised if they did like another color of the current one we have, the remote one.
But they had 14, right? So which I've got up there, which somebody I believe got for me at the con. I got 15 again through the con. But like right now, I don't know how the hell I want to display 15s, but I don't know how because it looks like a damn remote, and nobody so far has designed a 3D printed wall hanger for it.
Which is funny because that thing has a USB port in the newer series. And
yeah.
He's able to clonk it in.
I love that thing, but man. So no, please, not another one. Especially since they're not cheap. Like, isn't it supposed to be a kid's toy? Not for that price, it ain't.
It
like my daughter touches it, I'm like, back off, kid. What's that?
You can look on Facebook Marketplace. I think the 10th Doctor Sonic with the pen. It was like I saw one in my area that's going for like maybe $30.
I bought it for $20 back in the day, and it came with like a Sonic pen as well.
Yeah, with the blue light. Are you talking about Tenants? Yeah, because it had the blue light and the invisible ink writer.
Yeah, I saw the one that was like the Christmas one that was like red and gold. I'm like, this just looks like Iron Man. I don't know if I want this.
Oh, the Bridgerton one. Working on 3D model now. Will give me 3 days.
Oh, thank you, sir. Yeah, it just needs to hold that thing because it's essentially like an insanely unergonomic remote control. It looks like a hockey puck with an extension on it, to be honest.
I wonder why I like it so much.
There you go. Gee, David, where did you get yours?
Yeah, no, I think thank you.
The funniest part was when David's like, how much do I owe you? I'm like, dude, just when somebody else needs something, do it for them, pay it forward. In other words, be the doctor. The best answer I could have ever given.
There you go. Do it the long way around.
Exactly. So what did you guys give your final ratings on the episode?
Not
Once
yet.
I realized I couldn't get in, I seriously went and made myself some quick breakfast and was just
sorry.
Watch.
I've got to work on this, like being able to see.
Well,
like
it's not your fault. I spent 20 minutes going, okay, well, if I can come in here, can I just put myself on stage? Doesn't look like I can.
Oh, by the way, Will, just so you know,
even though it says I'm a producer, I'm at that Will Wilkins. I didn't do that right, but
you put the first name and then you put your just regular name for the last name, didn't you?
I got rid of my last name. I just wanted to be at that Will Wilkins. Sorry.
That's funny. No, we did not give reviews. So let's go ahead and I'm trying to think if there's anything else to. We didn't even talk about this. Rose telling Jackie that she met her father.
Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
that being the moment when Jackie's like, okay, I've got to help her save the doctor. I think it took a moment for Jackie to realize it, and I think that was probably the moment, because like even later down, like he still teases her and stuff, but she's more positive toward the doctor, and I think it was because of that moment she let her, and of course, you know, when we get to the point where we see all of the companions kind of like teaming up to save the doctor and the doctor, and Donna Doctor or Dr. Donna, um, you have that moment where I honestly think it's because he kind of put her back with her version of her husband, like a version that she could be with.
Mhm.
Like there is a level of gratefulness that comes with that. So
Well, and plus that was if you think about it, that was really a large hill to overcome when, you know, it's like, oh, silly me, can't control my time machine. Everybody thinks you're missing because they haven't heard from you in a year. Sorry about that. Yeah, people
Yeah.
tend not to forget
She's
that
got a
kind of
mind
thing.
of her own.
So, you know, it's I think as a parent, I would be reasonably it would be reasonable that I would be so concerned that she's knocking about with this gent when, oh, I don't know, I just haven't heard from my daughter in a year.
yeah, but she can still take responsibility for the fact that she basically just accused Mickey of being Rose's murderer for no reason.
Oh, well, again, I mean, last person she was seen with.
That's definitely not
Reasonable.
good for Mickey.
Look, obviously, just the doctor needs to learn some subtlety because this seems
We've seen
kinda
how
happening.
he dresses. The word subtlety does not exist within his vocabulary.
Fair enough. At least it's not a stalk of celery.
I
Sorry,
I
I
will
derailed. I
say,
apologize.
no, I will say at least with Judy's run now, when he took Ruby Sunday, like he got to know the family first.
No, that's true.
So
Which
Well,
made it
and
hit all the much harder at the finale.
fair enough. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's true. Especially given, like, that's the part of the. Well, we're talking about future episodes, but that is the part of the story that I thought was both interesting, that you had these parallel of these two people that don't know their parents, kind of thing, because you know they didn't let go of the whole timeless child aspect from Chibnall's run. But at the same time, it was also very bittersweet when you get to the end and suddenly Ruby's able to make this connection with her birth mother, who was just like anybody. Doesn't matter. I mean, it was literally, suddenly I was having flashbacks of The Last Jedi. They were nobody. They were scrappers. Sold you for a 6-pack. You know, it's kind of getting those vibes. But no, I just, it was so quick of a remedy. It was just like, that's the only part I didn't like. Because it's like, that was so simple. Just, oh, they're going to cry over it and everything's fine now. And now everybody's a giant family. Lovely. What about the doctor? What about him? Did you forget about him? You did, didn't you? Anyway.
yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and give our overall thoughts. Johnny, let's go ahead and start with you, and we'll just kind of go clock.
I'm gonna split it up actually. First episode, I will say from my memory is like a 6 or a 7. Final episode, I'll give it like an 8. Solid 8 out of 10. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Like as far as numbers go, I think this is my favorite arc of the season. That's not just because the Doctor regenerates into David Tennant, because I really liked Eccleston as the Doctor,
Mhm.
but it was just like the most impactful of the entire season. So yeah, I think maybe both of them, I'd say 7 or 8.
Okay. Will?
I think for what they were at the time, I would give the first one 8, and I would give the second one a 9. And I would rank it so high because it did successfully thread the needle on what RTD was trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, we got the culmination of what Bad Wolf was, and it wasn't anything actually truly bad that was coming, even though the payoff again was a little bit, I am the bad wolf, the corniest damn line I think I ever heard. But for everything they did, and for ratcheting up the level of intensity and the stakes that were in play, I think it did a really good job, especially given some of the corniness that we saw earlier in the season. So they really did, and I think they had a really rough job in order to get through this story and get us to Eccleston also regenerating. So at the time, I think it was a successful hat trick. So that's why I would give it a 9.
Okay. First episode for me, some of the reality show stuff I thought was a little bit wonky. I would say probably I give it a solid 7. It's not a bad episode, but at the same time, like it definitely dates itself. I would say it's probably the best way to say it. I do have to say, what especially I appreciated it going into the parting of ways was we have seen these characters kind of go back and forth, and we had Rose and her wonkiness wanting to change history and the doctor getting mad at her, and then of course Jack and whatnot. But immediately you have this moment where Rose is gone. The doctor and Jack are on the exact same page, and they don't even have to speak it. He's just like, go now. And like what they do, you see Jack going into the TARDIS, like he sees Rose's jacket, and he realizes what's going on. He shows to the doctor, and then the moment when he sends Rose back, and Jack goes, you sent her away, didn't you? And the Emperor Dalek is like, tell this guy what you're planning on doing and what you're going to happen. And Jack, without skipping a beat, goes, I would have expected nothing less from you. Like there's that relationship that's built with the doctor and his companions at that point. And then the fact that Rose won't give up. She saves the doctor, or she saves everybody. And she basically wipes out the Daleks. That was a solid 9 for me with the Eccleston run. I think it's definitely one of my favorite episodes. It's definitely one that I think had a better payoff. Could they have gone farther with the Bad Wolf thing? I think they could have, but it made sense. You wanted, again, there's nothing promised when it comes to any TV show.
And plus, considering how scattered this first season was, right?
Yeah.
It's fine, I think.
Yeah, so I definitely, I think the last episode was my favorite, and it had nothing to do with the doctor. I think it had everything to do with the fact that like you saw every character kind of mature in a way, and they were all on the same page. Even Mickey, who's been really antagonistic this whole time toward the doctor and everything else, he's doing everything he can to help Rose.
There you go.
So yeah.
You know what? You know what I'm gonna do for next season, actually, or when we go to season 2 of Shuti's run, I'm gonna start recording what score we give every single episode, and then by the end of the season, we can have an average score.
Ah, there you go. Good idea.
I'm gonna start doing that next season.
Because
now I'm just thinking about like, man, what would we rate season 1 considering these scores for Eccleston's run? I'm just like, man, if only we recorded those numbers.
Yeah. And it's also going to be difficult because we have to kind of set some ground rules. Are we going to rate it comparatively to the other seasons, or are we going to try to do it self-sustained?
Self-sustained. I think like just based off of like how we rate the episodes independently per episode, and then we'll just get that regular average. And then
Oh. And Geek Render also mentioned, it's the first mentioning of Torchwood.
Yes.
Which plays out. And Parting of the Ways too does end up setting up Jack in a way that we have no idea of yet. And I kind of love the implications of what has happened to him because of the way it happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he gets revived, and it was because she did it with the power of the TARDIS, or the heart of the TARDIS. And then the unintended consequences that I absolutely love, because it creates an interesting pivot point for Jack, a new way of telling story. And as we saw in Torchwood, it sets up one of the most horrific heroic journeys I've ever seen, because there's at one point where Holmes gets buried, and I think for like either 100 years or 1,000 years, he takes the long way around being buried alive, right? So just imagine if you're a person if you're a person that can come back to life, you have immortality, and I'm going to be stuck in a box, and I'm going to suffocate, and then I'm going to wake up and then be suffocating. It's kind of like what made Deadpool, right? In a way, because he's constantly
that little
on that
container thing.
He's constantly on the verge of permanence and then comes back. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
no thanks. Hard pass. That's
Mhm.
horrific. Why would you even come up with such a thing? What kind of mind thinks of that? This is going to haunt my dreams.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Or
And at that
create new
point,
ones.
and based on how sick and sadistic the writer is, they're going to utilize that to the worst possible,
Ugh.
outcome.
So horrible.
Yeah.
Maybe I should do more writing.
Yeah, man. There you go. If for no other motivation, say what horrific thing did I come up that'll mess with Will's brain?
No,
Hey,
legit.
so-
It'll just be a game of like, okay, let's see how I can just mind fuck audiences and make them not sleep.
Johnny's
You know
like,
what's
hold my
interesting?
beer.
I don't know if anyone in the room has seen Kevin Smith's Red State, okay, but
I've not.
that is a movie that is unlike any of his movies. And the interesting thing about it was when he was writing it, one, it's a movie that has no heroes. There's nobody to root for, okay, which I thought was an interesting premise.
Right.
And when I came out of this, I kind of felt like it was his Coen brothers level type movie. But in the writing process, the part that I loved about it is every time he's like, okay, what happens next? And so he would instinctively go with what happens next. And then he's like, all right, now what's the complete opposite of that? And that's the part that gets written into the story.
Love it.
So it is a very interesting film. It's a very interesting exploration of like how extreme views can lead to extreme events. It's one of his best. Honestly speaking, it is one of his probably lesser known, but one of his best films.
I'll have to look into it.
Yeah.
There you go, or curse me later, whichever one.
Mind you, I feel
I
like it's
doubt
like a precursor to what's going on today, but that's okay.
I mean, a little bit,
Yeah.
but also it somehow leads into. It doesn't lead into, but then it gets into his wacky Canadian trilogy, or the Great White North trilogy, as it's referred to, which hasn't been finished. With what was the first one? The first one was Tusk, then Yoga Hosers, and the third
I've
one.
seen Tusk.
Yeah, and the third one would be Moose Jaws, which is at the time was envisioned as an exact recreation of Jaws, but with a moose.
Dude, mooses are scary. I'm
Yeah.
not kidding. They're horrifying.
Mm.
Oh man.
There's a reason why we eat caribou, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead.
It's for
Take your show
survival.
back, Tony, quick.
Okay.
Before it becomes a commercial for something else. Hey, don't forget Dogma 25th anniversary re-release in theaters June 5th.
Revenge of the Sith comes back soon.
Dogmamovie.com. Anyway, go ahead, Tony. Take your show
absolutely.
back.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, with that said, let's go ahead and do the shameless plug since we already started. We've had Will. Will, go ahead, just go for it.
On all social media, I'm at that Will Wilkins. It's just that easy. Don't forget Netheads, usually Sundays, 6 p.m. Pacific. YouTube.com/Netheads on air.
Usually, like, does usually mean today too?
Probably not.
No, still not feeling well.
We did a makeup show on Monday, and I never finished. I still haven't posted it.
Oh Lord.
So
Editing.
that's where I'm at. I'm lucky I'm even here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm turning my lights off. The hell with this.
Magic Mind, but Will doesn't get paid for that right now, so we're not.
Not here. Although I will tell you, if you use my link, magicmind.com/netheadlt20, you can get up to 48% off. Go ahead, take your show back, Tony. Go ahead.
All right, David, go ahead. Tell us where we can find you.
I am Xanatos1138 on all socials, mostly TikTok at the moment. But I mean, if you follow me on TikTok, please. But my latest videos have been like today, it's the stormtrooper bumping his head in episode 4. It's just a clip of that.
Oh.
Everyone can find me at Marvelous Johnny. Just make sure you put 2 L's in Marvelous because we are Canadian. At least I am. Make sure you do the TikTok though for that because I got a video coming out soon involving dumplings and Simulu. That sounds so wrong.
I just had dumplings last night.
It just depends. Yeah. So I'm Tony. You can find me at Mr. Marvelite everywhere. At some point, I'm going to go on a rant about Toxic Film Bros and the Superman teaser. Just because I've been on X for way too long looking at people's comments.
I want to be part of that discussion because I wonder if some of the complaints I have match up with theirs, which is going to be concerning.
I'm going to tell you right now, it's literally an argument about how the robots are inconsistent with a clip that is only so big with one saying, you know, we can't appreciate gratitude, and the other one's like, he looked at me, and not understanding there's more context to it,
Mhm.
and then also they're angry about the dog, they're angry about Crypto.
It's a
So,
okay. Anyway,
Well,
and they're angry about him being in pain as the sun is healing him, because
that's what I'm
the sun is
confused
hurting him.
about. That's what I
would-
thought.
Well, okay. Think about this, Johnny. I'm gonna take you on a little journey. All right, hold on, Tony. You can have your show back in a second.
Okay.
I'm gonna take you on a journey. Now, imagine the sun gives you incredible powers and the ability to heal, but imagine that you're suddenly being given a mega dose of sun at a super concentration, and how it would feel like to have your ribs and other internal organs suddenly healing at a way more rapid rate than just gradual, mild healing.
Because the sun heals and the sun powers. The sun is not an anesthetic.
Right, but did the robots not give him an anesthetic? I thought they did.
Fuck no, they just held him down.
Oh,
They
You
were,
sit
they
there
were
and-
if you watch before the lens finally goes over, they are putting their hands on him, like ready to steady him, because they
in my
know it's
defense, I
gonna
watched
hurt.
it while I was doing paperwork at work. No one tell my work, by the way.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
I didn't
What's
see
the-
nothing, didn't hear nothing.
what
Well, cool.
what work?
Maybe we could do that as a discussion because that
Oh my
does sound
word.
fun.
For whatever reason, I'm looking over at Max right now from when I was showing it on screen, and I just realized the Sarah Jane Adventures are there, because I was like, I need to go watch these.
Cool. David can now, or not David, Tony can now go watch those.
I would watch Torchwood first, but that's
I struggle with that one.
Or you
Okay,
can do class.
Yeah. So
Oh,
remember, watch us. It's fanbox.com. You can also go to fanboxnetwork.com to see us and the other podcasts that are involved or connected to us, including The Real Study, who has a show this evening. I believe 7 p.m.
4 p.m.
time.
Pacific, 7 p.m.
4
Eastern time.
Thank you very much. So yeah, check them out. They're gonna be doing Big Trouble in Little China as one of the episodes.
oh,
And
I
I
love
think
that
also
movie.
The Golden Child.
Dude, I am
So-
so mad. I am so mad I'm not on this one. That is happening more often than not. But like, especially because I want a knife, please. If you haven't seen dude, Golden Child was one of those ones where it was on heavy rotation on home video when I was a kid. That movie is just it's part of my DNA, whether I like it or not.
No, and then the same thing for me with Big Trouble in Little China. Although I know that there's a lot of like stereotypical stuff that's inside of it.
That's
Every
fine.
time I
The
look at
Chinese
Mortal
guy
Kombat-
appreciates it. It's actually kind of fun.
Every time I watch Mortal Kombat, I'm like, they're ripping off Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
No, same.
But yeah,
Me,
so I was a
Jack
little-
Burton.
Yeah, I was a little jealous jumping on. I was jealous about not being able to jump on this episode, but that's okay. But be sure to check it out. They're part of the
You know,
Fanbox
dude, I've
Network
been
as
thinking
well.
about the link never changes. We can just crash it. Just drop it. Hey, what's up?
Yeah,
No,
that's
don't
true.
you remember you invited us for this one?
Well, no, they've
You're
changed.
gonna
They're-
gaslight
they're-
people.
So they're using EV Mux like we are. So unless you have like
Oh.
a specific guest line, I think there's no.
Yeah. It's one of my coworkers used to say, "Para pendejo no se estudia," which means you
Oh
can't
my
learn
God.
to be an idiot. You don't learn to be an idiot.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, but
Learn
Mickey's
something
on. Mickey's on tonight, so let him have his time, because if there's too many of us, it just nothing's gonna get done. But yeah, so be sure to check that out on youtube.com/The Real Study. You can find them on podcasts. You can find us on podcasts. Just look for Tardis Talk, or just check out fanboxnetwork.com. You'll see all of our podcasts that we are working on or partnered with right now, and there are more to come. So
You
be
got to
sure check
get
that
to
out.
all our socials where you can find us on Instagram and shit.
Yes, yes. And I am trying. So here's a recommendation I would say for you guys if you're not already. Make sure you have a Blue Sky account, because I can import whatever you put on there into our podcast stuff, so that we can just have you listed as hosts on those shows.
Do I have Blue Sky?
I think you do, because I was able to import you.
I
if
do
you
have
Yeah.
Blue Sky.
If you go
Not
to
to-
fanboxnetwork.com, you'll see Johnny. You're listed as one of the hosts for Daredevil Morning.
Also, interestingly
I
enough,
worked there last week.
if you have a Blue Sky account, one of the things that I will be talking about on Heads the next time I do it is there is an app that I believe is called Skyline Social. I sent it to Tony. I think it's Skyline Social.
I think.
Is that right?
Yeah. I haven't
and
played
what-
it yet.
What they did is they basically came up with like they're developing a TikTok alternative. But what it does is it uses the AT protocol the same way that Blue Sky does. So your account is your account. It's your media. Nobody can take that away from you. If the app were suddenly banned, another app could easily pick it up. So it's a great concept. And they're actually backed by Mark Cuban. So,
Ooh.
but the great thing is, anything you post on Skyline Social also goes on your Blue Sky account. So it's like it's a win-win.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. Also, Tony, looking at my Blue Sky, or not my Blue Sky, my Fanbox page, you gotta add some of those Agatha episodes.
Oh yeah. I will. Did I not add you on those?
Not some. No, I'm not on any of the Agatha stuff. There's no Agatha stuff on my account, but we'll deal with that later.
On the Fanbox Network, or it's fanbox.com?
Don't make it awkward.
Fanbox.com.
It's Fanbox. Okay, I'll double check. Okay.
Yeah.
Will do. All right. With that said, we have been the Tardis Talk. We will see you next week, hopefully with Nico as well.
Yes.
And we're starting the new Doctor Who. So if you want to be able to be relevant and with us, be sure to watch it Saturday night when it releases on the 12th.
Yep.
And then we'll be talking about it on the 13th.
Yeah.
With that said, let's go ahead and see if I don't break something this time, because that's just how it is. And let's go ahead and say
farewell. You were fantastic.